If you're looking to maximize your 2023 in just a few steps and get farther than most people who just make New Year's resolutions, then this is the video for you. Hi everyone, I'm Stephanie, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, I'm currently a college freshman at Harvard, and I usually post vlog and live content on my channel. The end of a month, semester, or year is a great time to reflect on things that have happened in your life recently, and also to plan your next steps going forward. And so in today's video, I'll be leading you through the planning routine that I personally use, and we'll be going through step by step, and as a bonus, I'll also be planning out my own year alongside with you as an example. Feel free to get out a notebook, a Google Doc, or whatever helps you best, so that way we can jump right into it. I also just want to say a quick thank you for hitting 1K recently. I'm really grateful for all the support I've received in the past few months, and I look forward to improving and working hard to create more content for you guys. I just want to give a few tips about planning, especially if you're not someone who plans a lot. Planning is definitely not a one-time process. It's very much an iterative one. So you might plan once now, but be aware that your plans may change. You might want to pour your thoughts first onto something that's more like an unorganized dump before you put them into an actionable plan that you can use for next year. So do whatever works for you. Watch the video in chunks, feel free to pause at any time, and rewatch and remake the plans. And that is, know that plans aren't rigid, so don't let not being able to meet some of your initial expectations derail you, because that can be often more harmful than just altering your goals to fit what's most reasonable for you. Be aware that things will change because there's good and bad things that happen that we can't expect every year, and it's just part of the process. Don't let everything be important, because otherwise nothing else will be. Figure out what you want to prioritize, because everything that you choose is going to be a trade-off. I'm specifically going to choose not to focus my energy on certain things in 2023, even if I like them, just because time is limited. It's much better to have 5 full changes you want in your life rather than just 10 uncompleted attempts. Also, because I'm going to be quite transparent as I share my own planning, I just want to mention that I want to make this a safe place for people to share their weaknesses, their regrets, and not feel ashamed for their shortcomings or where they are or want to be in the future, since I will be doing the same. So the first step in the planning process is actually to look back and reflect on 2022. In order to go forward effectively, you need to know where you're coming from and therefore look at the past. Here are some of my favorite questions that I like to answer when thinking about this topic. The first is usually the one that I like to get out of the way, which is what didn't go well, or what mistakes or what regrets did I have this year. If you're like me and you're chronically overthinking, this will probably be pretty easy to answer. Now the second question is the opposite, which is looking at your achievements. It can be easy in the span of a year to forget about everything that you've done. So I want you to list everything that's both big and small. List it all and everything, just to understand what you're capable of and how we can move forward next year. What has changed in the past year for you? This can include anything that's not achievements or mistakes, such as just a changing of circumstances, anything that's new. And then the final one is, what lessons did you learn in 2022? This can be a little bit hard to think about on the spot, so I'd encourage you to think about it more deeply on your own time. But this can be anything that you've taken away from the year, both by observing the world around you and also things that you've observed about yourself. So I decided to make a Notion page to write down and summarize what was in my own reflection for 2022. So here you see what didn't go well, what I achieved, what changed in my life during this year, and also what I learned and took away from the year as a whole. The next 2 parts might feel a little redundant because we're going to go over what you want to achieve in 2023 and what you want to let go of, which may feel really similar to the reflection that we just did in 2022, but we're doing this one because it's good to articulate and emphasize again what you specifically want to do, and also because not necessarily everything in 2022 that went bad you want to reverse, or everything that you want to achieve you're going to do in 2023, so it's important to prioritize and focus your attention specifically on what you want to do. And so now we can move on to the usual New Year resolutions part, which is, what do you want to achieve in 2023? This is something I heard my brother say, but what would define a good year for you in 2023? So often I think we define success by like what would be successful for a generic person or someone else in our life. But I really want you to think about where you can start from where you are right now and make yourself an even better person rather than chase a specific image of success. And this will help you give a lot more meaning and direction to your goals as you plan them. And the second part is, why do you want to achieve these goals? Because there will be days you don't remember, or it's hard for you to realize like how badly you wanted to achieve something, but those days are just as important for making progress. And for me, like, I struggle a lot with this, so I actually have like a printed piece of paper where I've written all my main goals and the reasons why I want to keep on doing them, and I read it every morning because I just forget a little extra, so you don't really have to do that. Now here are my own goals for 2023. I wrote down my main goals for next year and also wrote down a sentence about why I wanted to achieve them. The next part is figuring out what you want to let go of in 2023. There are things that like probably have disrupted your life, damaged 2022. So what is in your control that you can do to release or avoid those things? Imagine your life without a specific habit, item, or commitment, and think about if you would be happier if it wasn't there, if you'd be able to have more time, if you'd have more energy. Since this is like more of a negative thinking process, I would rather you limit this to maybe like 3 items. And if it makes you happier and there is an actionable way to get rid of it or avoid it, then let's do that. Write down the ways that you can get rid of it in a way that makes it easy for you to keep track of. I kept this pretty short, but here's a few things that are in my control that I didn't really like about 2023. Now this last part is, what will you actually do to achieve these goals in 2023? And this is probably the most important part. This goes in like 2 parts. So the first is, what can you do right now? Is there anything that you need to set up, ask anyone for help, any like practicing that you need before you can get into the flow of doing it on your own? Some things are just short-term projects that help us immensely. Write them down and separate them from what will become your habits or part of your regular routine. And then the second part is for things that can go like long run, like daily, weekly. I think when you do things like 3 times a week, it's easy for you to procrastinate and do whatever works for you. And if you can make it a habit, it is definitely the easiest way to work towards changing your life in the long run. Finally, here's my own action plan for 2023 of basically listing things that I can do right now to get started on progress, and also things that I can incorporate long term. At this point in the video, congratulations, you've officially done the initial dump or planning for 2023, and I want to congratulate you on reaching this point and making this step for yourself. I've usually dumped my thoughts onto like a journal type thing, and from here I like to narrow down my goals even further or clean it up and put it in a way that's easy for me to see day to day when I'm trying to look for my goals. I don't think you need to keep your reflection anywhere visible unless that's like helpful to you, but yeah, you can feel free to experiment. I'd encourage you to go one step further. In your case, you would be planning out January. Like a month is enough time to see how things are working and their trajectory in the long term, but it's also like often enough to make sure you keep yourself on track. A few things that go into monthly planning if you're doing this. One, think of like major events, like birthdays you need gifts for, or any big exams, trips. You also want to think about generally like what you want to achieve, where you see yourself in a month, or like what in those goals that we outlined you want to see progress in. It doesn't have to be like every goal every month. You probably just keep out like anything to watch out for, maybe notes of like when to start studying for your test, or this month I need to go into office hours to get help on this essay. I would not recommend like planning out the whole month because there's so many things that can change. But yeah, to keep this video short, I won't be planning out my own January right here, but I encourage you to outline your own month, you can head into 2023 a little bit more concretely. I really hope you like this video. If anyone's interested in what my daily or weekly planning routine usually looks like on Notion, I'm happy to share that. Happy New Year. Hope you have a great 2023.